I'm Steve Pulaski, and we are now in the final hour of Sleepless with Steve, and I just want to talk briefly about news that broke about 10 hours ago on a lot of websites. CNBC and CNN Media will be the two primary sources for this news story. Disney has confirmed that it will pull its movies from Netflix and start its own streaming service early next year. The company announced during its latest earnings report that it intends to pull all of its content, excluding Marvel owned properties like Marvel movies and Marvel TV shows. They will still remain on there as well. It will also launch an ESPN video streaming service as well, which will include the MLB, NHL, and MLS content. That is, of course, baseball, hockey, and soccer. And then there's also plans to launch a branded Disney direct-to-consumer streaming service in 2019. Now, this is where it gets a little hairy, and this is where I'm a little bit confused. And I've read a couple articles on this, and none of which seem to explain it well for me. And it says, according to CNBC, it says the new platform will be home for all the Disney movies going forward, starting with the 2019 theatrical slate, which includes Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, and the upcoming live-action reimagining of The Lion King. So does that mean that those movies are going to go to theaters in addition to being on this new mysterious platform? See, that's what I don't understand, because it's not like it says like those will be among the first new Disney movies to be put on the platform. No, it says that we'll be home for the Disney movies going forward, starting with the 2019 theatrical slate of movies, Toy Story 4, Frozen 2, The Lion King remake. So that's a little perplexing to me. I'm not really sure what they mean. I'm not really sure if they mean that they're going to have those going forward or that those are going to be on there while they coincide with a theater release. Now, I'm going to say right now, if I'm interpreting this the way that it reads, which means that Toy Story 4 will be on this Disney exclusive streaming platform the same day it's released into American theaters, that's a problem. And that's a problem I'm not sure theaters are going to want to go for. Granted, these examples are small scale movies, but theaters have been intensely opposed to the idea of video on demand releases for movies that are currently in theaters. Case in point, AMC Theaters was the only theater chain to show, one of the only theater chains, that in the Alamo Drafthouse, one of the only to show the final Paranormal Activity movie, The Ghost Dimension, in addition to Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, both of which were released in 2015, in the latter half of 2015, because of the fact that the studios behind them, Paramount, they wanted to try something new. They wanted to say, okay, once these movies start to pull back below 300 theaters, in a certain amount of days, then once they come out in about 1,400 theaters, once they get down to 300 in the subsequent weeks, we're going to release them on video on demand shortly after. The Regal Cinema, Cinemark, Lowe's, they didn't want it. They said, no, we can't do that. That's going to hurt our profits. We can't do that. The similar thing happened to Tower Heist, the Ben Stiller movie. Now, this is just really outlandish, okay? I remember when this story broke, I had to read it a few times. I'm going to try and keenly summarize it over here, but there was a big video-on-demand boycott with it because Universal Pictures said that Tower Heist would be made available for home viewing via their company Comcast video-on-demand system 3 weeks after it premiered in theaters for a rental cost of $59.99. So if you wanted to watch the Eddie Murphy, Ben Stiller comedy 3 weeks after it came out in theaters, you could watch it on Comcast Video on Demand for $59.99. That's asinine. And the thing that I thought was funny was that the big complaint was met by cinema chains and theaters saying that future implementation would impact their ticket sales, understandably in a way. Is it not more concerning that they want to charge $59.99 to watch a 100-minute movie? Not only a 100-minute movie, but a movie that doesn't have any names. It's got Ben Stiller. It's got Eddie Murphy. It's this really silly, goofy comedy that was was a modest hit when it came out. And it's not like it was coming out the same day on video on demand. It was coming out 3 weeks later, and most of these comedies are front loaded anyway. I don't know. That was baffling. That happened like 6 years ago. Okay, look that story up if you don't believe me. The tower heist that Comcast was going to offer, or Universal was going to offer it on Comcast video on demand system 3 weeks after it came out for $59.99. They didn't end up doing it because the opposition was so, fruitful and stuff like that. But man, who the hell would pay $60 to watch a movie like that in theaters? If I could understand maybe paying that much if you want to watch a Marvel movie in your home, but that's if it comes out the same day. I don't know. That didn't make any sense. But this Disney new platform for Disney, I mean, it doesn't seem that odd that the corporate empire that is Disney wants to make their titles more exclusive to video on demand. I don't really have a problem with that. I think that Disney already has such a monopolistic reign even on the box office in a way that like nowadays the only things that are making money are like Disney tied products and Marvel movies too, which is obviously a subsidiary and is co-owned by Disney too. So, I mean, it's like, Disney's already got such a hold on the marketplace. It doesn't surprise me in the slightest that they want to get rid of their content off of Netflix and put it on some sort of exclusive, streaming service. That doesn't surprise me at all. But I don't understand what they mean about the new platform will be home for the new Disney movies come 2019. I don't know if they're trying to say that Toy Story 4 is going to be similar to what like this Tower Heist was going to be. Like it's going to be released on that platform a few weeks after it comes out. That doesn't make sense to me. And I think that might hurt them a little bit. Not much. They're kind of indestructible. But hurt them a little bit in terms of, box office revenue for the movie. I don't know. That seems a little bit odd. But Disney's buying a majority ownership of BAM Tech for $1.58 billion in preparation of this movement, in addition to the fact that they will also indeed they bought a 33% stake in the company that was spawned that was spawn of the digital media company MLB Advanced Media way back in August of last year. And the CEO says that it represents this big strategic shift for the company, and he's right in a way. I mean, now that Disney's going to fully be committed now to the theatrical market, or at least the video on demand market more so than they were before, I just think it's a very odd way to word something like that. Like, I don't know what they mean. I could use some clarification. I don't expect anybody to really know at this time. I think we're going to be getting details. And I would say the way that, I think a lot of writers overreacted, a lot of film writers overreacted when AMC reported losses in their earning, and they went on to write like how this is like the end of Hollywood and like doom spells and everything like that. I kind of think it's the same thing with this, where it's like if it really were the decision to put Toy Story 4 in home video or on home video on demand platforms the same time that they will put that they were planning on putting it in theaters, I think that there would be an uproar incredibly on the internet too. So I don't know if that's true, but I'm not really sure what Disney means by that.